Hello, everyone. Welcome to Small Biz Tips. Guys, I am super excited. So, listen, I was in this mastermind, bunch of top high level entrepreneurs, and the gentleman I had today was one of our coaches. He is amazing. I've seen this guy literally 10x businesses in the shortest amount of time I've ever seen before. So, I had to bring him on today to talk about some of his secrets. Michael Tucker, what's up, man?
What's up, Jay? How's it going, man? I'm so excited to be coming on here and adding some value. Let's change some lives today, man.
Yes, let's do this. So before we even go into all those cool things that you know how to do, who is Michael?
Dude, that's a great question. Sometimes I ask myself the same thing. But no. So I'm primarily, known as a digital marketer. We teach
Mhm.
people how to run virtual events and use sales funnels to scale their businesses, right? I do some other things on the side, but that's pretty much what keeps me busy during the daytime
Nice.
is running virtual events for people. So based out of Kentucky, middle of nowhere, Kentucky. I love it. It's nice and
What?
peaceful where
You
I'm
in
at. And
Kentucky?
yeah, in Kentucky. Nobody says I'm going to Kentucky on vacation, but it's cool because, whenever I want to go to conferences, to these events,
Yeah.
I get to go see the big city for a few days and then bounce back home where there's nothing. So,
I love it. I love it, man. So how'd you get into the space? Like what were your background? Did you live in Kentucky your whole life?
yeah. Let's jump right down into it, man. And I love sharing stories. Is it cool?
Yeah.
Like, is that cool if
Yes.
I share stories? So, back in about 2017, 2018, I just got
Hmm.
out of college and I just gotten married. Now, there's one thing about newly graduated students, as you probably know,
Yeah.
they don't have a lot of money, right? And that was me,
Yeah.
typical college student getting out of school, worked a restaurant server job, just got married. And my wife and I actually spent all of our money going on our honeymoon to Bali. It was the
Wow.
most unwise decision ever to spend all of our money on Bali, our honeymoon, but it was awesome. It was a great trip. That was like my most favorite trip I've ever been on. But
Mm.
at the time, I was searching for something, I was like, man, I know there's something out there that can help me generate income. And there's probably some of you all listening right now,
Yeah.
you're saying the same thing. Like, there's something out there. And I knew the digital world was like
Mm.
where it's at next, right? I knew digital marketing, making money
Mhm.
online is like where the whole world was turning to. And I was like, I got to figure out how to do that. So I started trying all these other business models. Tried stock trading,
Mhm.
e-commerce, drop shipping, anything online you could imagine. I tried, and eventually I found myself really depressed and really sad because everything
Mm.
I was trying was not working. And in fact, it wasn't that those things weren't working. It wasn't I wasn't working it long enough, but that's another story in itself. But I
Yeah.
found myself really depressed, really sad. I didn't really have much money. I had a few other businesses that I put a lot of capital into, like thousands and thousands of dollars, and I lost all of that. So literally was starting out from the ground up. And then one day I get a call from one of my best friends, and he said, Michael, he said, you know, I've been teaching people how to get into real estate. And he
Mm.
said, I would love to teach you how to get into the space. Like, and I'm like, dude, do you know who you're talking to? I just spent all my money on Bali. I just pretty much have a failed business where I just spent 10, 15, $20,000 to get up and it's not
Mm.
working. I said, what do you like? How do you expect it to do that? And I was like, I don't even have money to invest in your program. Right. And so we came up with something really cool. And this is a tip for you guys.
Yes, yes.
You have resources and you have things available to you that other people don't, right? And so I told him, I was like, dude, I don't have the money to invest. And I said,
Mm.
but what I do have is, well, you need help marketing your program. So I said, how about we do this? I was kind of techie. I knew websites a
Yeah.
little bit, nothing crazy. And so I said, how about I build out some websites and help you a little bit with your digital marketing? You coach me in real estate for free. And I kind of did a barter system for,
I
and
love that.
I still do this to this day, bro. Like I still like, for
That's
example,
awesome. That
for
means you're
some,
resourceful. You thought of ways
exactly,
to get in. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, I don't have it. I'm not gonna do it." But you didn't see it that way. You like, you know what?
100%.
Let me figure out a way. How can I add value? So let's go back to the story. So what happened next?
Yeah, so this is what happened. He said yes, he liked the idea. So he coached me for free. I gave him the little digital marketing knowledge I had, just going through high school, building out my own websites, doing things here and there. I helped him out. He said yes. Um, but what's really funny, I just want to hit back on this point real quick was I still do that to this day. Like for
Yeah.
example, last month somebody had an offer that was like $10,000 that I really wanted. I was like, how about we just
Yeah.
trade services, right? And it worked. And so you get what you ask for in a lot of cases. So don't be afraid to do barter, to put yourself
Mm,
out there and ask, right? The Big Ask is, there's
yes.
actually a book about it. Have you read that book, The Big Ask?
I have not, but I definitely gonna have it on my bookshelf now. Oh,
Yeah,
who
you
do you
need
remember
to.
who wrote it?
What is it? I can't remember the person's name, to be honest, but if you just type in Big Ask
Okay.
on Amazon, it'll pop right up. But the point of it is to ask bigger questions, right? Because a lot of times we stop asking big questions because we're afraid of what if, right? But all they
Yeah.
can say is no, right? And so I've been continuing to ask those big questions till this day. And so fast forward, he said yes. And so what we went on this journey together. His name was David.
Yeah.
So I went on this journey with David of him teaching me real estate and me helping him in his business. And what came
Mhm.
out of that was amazing. We grew his business. And it was a lot of learning, a lot of trial and error, but we took his small little coaching business to 7 figures in 12 months just by the conversation, like what I'm about to reveal to you guys today. It
Yes.
didn't happen overnight. In fact, I remember sitting one Friday night. I was working as a part-time youth minister as well. So I remember sitting on a Friday night. I lived in a church parsonage. And I was sitting at the kitchen table, putting in the work for David.
Mhm.
We had this big launch coming up. Sitting in the dark. It was late in the evening, typing out, getting everything ready. Some of you all know the software ClickFunnels. So I was in
Yeah.
ClickFunnels getting ready for this big launch. And we hit the launch button, hit send out emails, made some posts, sent out the text, and we thought this thing was going to blow up overnight. Well, actually, our
Nothing
first
happened.
launch flopped, right? And so you've heard this story probably, and you know how it is. Like when you're a beginning
Yeah.
entrepreneur, it wasn't always that way, but through a series of events, we were able to take his business to like 7 figures in 12 months. So it's been a
Wow.
whole amazing journey. We met a lot of amazing people like you, but
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
where it started. Was all just simply bartering and doing the grunt work to grow that business.
Wow. Well, first, congratulations for being super resourceful and being able to help them grow their business like that. You mentioned there is a lot of bumps and bruises on the road, and I think a lot of us entrepreneurs sometimes think about, that it's a straight point from A to B and everything is
I
peachy,
wish.
right? And now realizing that things not gonna work, things gonna break down. So during that first year, right, when you guys were clicking away on ClickFunnels, that launched that flop, what was the learning lesson? What you guys learned from that? And then what did you change after that for the
Yeah.
next?
Yeah, there's a lot of information we can dive into there, right? And so one lesson I learned from that was that like I adopted this model since that. I learn, I
Mm,
implement, I
mhm.
tweak, and repeat. That's the motto since then. I learn, I implement, I tweak, now I repeat, right? And
Yeah,
so that's what happened. We learned a certain process.
yeah,
We implemented it. It didn't go that well, but we tweaked it later and
yeah.
repeated the whole process, right? And so that first launch, I was sitting there in the church parsonage kitchen table at like 8 o'clock at night. I still remember it to this day, and nothing happened. What we had is we had to sit back and we found a coach and a mentor. And there's some of you all in here.
Mhm.
That's what you need. You need a coach and a mentor. And so actually after that, man, somebody spoke into our life and said, hey, I
Yeah,
love what you're doing, but you're doing it the wrong way. Make a few tweaks. And so we did. So at the time, I think we were trying to run some kind of webinar, and he turned us
yeah,
on to these 5-day virtual events called challenges. Some of you guys know what
yes.
they are, but we changed the model completely and took messy action. That if I could tell anybody one thing to do is, yes, perfect action is it's great to shoot for, but why not just get it out there? That's what we did. We took
Mhm.
imperfect action and perfected it later. And
Mm,
that second launch, bro, we made like $30,000, which for me was big because I was only making 30,000 in a year, not even that. And
whew.
so for me to make $30,000 in just 1 week or whatever that was, a couple days, my mind was completely shifted, and we didn't do it perfect. It was
Yeah.
ugly as heck, right? But so if little tip there, just imperfect action daily and perfect the rest as you go.
So I got two questions for you, right? One, I'm really loving this because I think there's a lot of lesson that a lot of us don't think about here. You took imperfect action, and make it happen, and got 30K within like 5-7 days, which is congrats on that. Now, you mentioned something here, virtual events.
Mhm.
What is that, right? Because a lot of people
Yeah.
hearing, these terms recently in marketing, they're like, what is that? They don't know. And if you're a
Dude.
business owner, this could probably change your business forever. So can you break that down? What exactly is those virtual events that are blowing
Yeah.
people's up right now?
It's crazy, bro. And so like after that experience, after
Mhm.
we made that $30,000 and whatever, however that we'll just call it a week, right? It may have been a little
Yeah.
less. But after we made that, I was like, bro, this is the way. And ever since then, I've been trying to tell people and show people this way, right? It's like once you know
Mhm.
you have the cure for something or you have the solution, you got to tell everybody about it. So I wholeheartedly believe virtual stages are the
Mm,
best way to scale business right now in 2023. Why?
mm,
Because we live in the digital age, bro. Like, where's everybody at? Online, right? Everybody's online on the internet, and there's
yeah.
no better time than right now in history to reach people with your cell phone, reach people with your laptop. So virtual stages, bro, just give you a little platform is exactly what it sounds like, right? Using virtual platforms, you
Mm,
could say virtual events, however you want to say it, but using virtual platforms to share your message and speak to the masses. And so that's what we've really tapped into is learning how to leverage the internet to get in front of as many people as possible, add value to them,
mm.
and then invite them to work with us, right? And it's been amazing. It's been, dude, we've made like, and this is not to be prideful, this is just to share the truth behind how
Yeah.
powerful this is. We've made like 30 to 35 million dollars for our clients over the past couple of years just by what we're talking about, right? And that's changed. We've changed thousands and thousands of people's lives and made millions of dollars just because we've learned how to leverage virtual stages.
Whoo, whoo, whoo.
It's crazy.
35 mil. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. So let's go deeper in virtual stages. So when you say virtual stages, are we talking about an event on Zoom, for example, right? For
Mhm.
people that's familiar with Zoom, for I guess 3 days, 5 days, and then they're bringing a bunch of people that need that service or need to learn about a particular product, help those people reach certain transformation, and then be able to offer them an opportunity to work
Right.
with you.
Yeah,
Is
and dude, when we talk about virtual events and virtual stages, there's many
yeah.
ways to go about it. We
Okay.
only focus on one, which is called the challenge model. I'll explain
Mm,
that in just a few minutes. But whenever it comes to virtual stages, there's many different virtual stages you can create yourself or you
mm-hmm.
can get on, right? There's podcast. This is a stage right here. Whether
Yes.
you know it or not, this is a virtual stage. This is a virtual event happening, right? This is going to go out
Mhm.
to people all around the globe. So there's there's podcast, YouTube channels, social media lives. That's a
Mm,
platform, right? You have online summits, online conferences, you got webinars, masterclass.
mm.
There's so many. So what I
Gotcha.
like to show,
Gotcha.
yeah. So we specialize in something called 5 day challenges, and so what that is we build out a 5 day. You would say it's like a webinar. If you've ever been on a webinar or masterclass, it's
Yeah.
just like spread out over 5 days, right? So we take people from point A to point Z in 5 days, laying out exactly everything they want to know about a certain topic. So let's say that you want to know how to lose weight in 60 days, right? Hey, I want to learn how to lose this amount of weight in 60 days. What a challenge is, it's exactly what it sounds like. We challenge you over the course of 5 days to take action. And how we do that is through a virtual event. We'll teach you. So, for
Mhm.
example, we may spend 5 days teaching you how to eat healthy, how
Yeah.
to exercise, where to get the accountability. And each day we're giving you action steps to take. So, day one, we may say, hey, you have to find accountability coach or a person.
Mm,
Hey, day two, your homework is to create a diet plan. Hey, day three, you got to
mm.
create an exercise plan. And
Gotcha.
so by the end of the 5 days, they've made so much progress and they've made took so much action that by the time we invite them to work with us, and it could be that they sign up for for personal training services.
Yeah.
It could be that they buy a course about how to lose weight in 60 days. It could be that they go to this retreat, right? This yoga
Gotcha.
retreat where they're gonna learn how to do
Yeah, it's a
X, Y, Z, right?
mastermind.
Yeah, so there's many different ways, but by the end of that 5 days, they're ready to purchase because they just spent 5 days with you learning in an immersive experience. So like I said, there's many different types of virtual stages. We utilize challenges a lot, but we
Yeah.
utilize the other ones too. Look at me, I'm on a podcast right now, but
Yeah.
I wholeheartedly believe in general virtual stages. So as a small business owner, you listening to this, it doesn't have to be anything big. It could be with 5 people. It
Yeah.
could be 10 people. It could be that you go live with another small business owner in your town, right?
Mhm.
On social media. There's many different ways to leverage these virtual stages, but these are my favorites, man.
I love it. I love it, man. And I think one thing you said here, right, is you're teaching people, but they're actually taking action. So you're creating that trust factor, which is what people need for them to know, like, and trust. So if they now
Yeah.
know you, they like you, and they trust you, they're gonna potentially buy from you. So, oh man, I got so many ways. So many questions I want to ask with this. Um, you specialize in one particular one, right? You'll hear people say, "Oh my God, I've done webinars, it doesn't work," or "I've done this, it doesn't work. I've gone live, it doesn't work." What do you normally say to people that say that?
Yeah, man. I mean, ultimately, there's different types of virtual stages for you, right?
Yeah,
And so what we often do is we'll sit down and ask, like, what's the goal? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to sell a 30,000, 40,000, $50,000 product?
yeah,
Or are you trying to just to sell like $100 product? Because to sell $100 product, you don't need to run a 5-day virtual event, right? To sell
mhm,
a 30 or $50,000 program or a product, you probably do, right? Because it's a lot harder to sell a $50,000 program in
yeah,
we'll just say a 1 hour masterclass. So for people that come to me and say webinars don't work, it's usually these 3 things, bro. Or I'd say 3 or 4. One, they
mhm,
probably don't have enough people in the room, right? So they're
mhm.
probably like, I tried a webinar, I tried a challenge, it didn't work. And I asked how many people were there, like 2. I'm like, well, like
Like,
that you got it's a numbers game, right? Just like
yeah,
anything in business. You got to know your stats, you got to know your numbers. So if you can learn how to fill those up, it's even better, right? So
yeah,
normally it's 1, they don't have enough people in the room. 2,
mhm,
normally it's their offer kind of sucks. And I say that in bad way, but
mhm,
like if you don't have an irresistible offer, nobody's gonna buy, right? If they're like, oh,
yeah,
I can get this from someone else. It'd be like you go into Walmart and they're advertising this grand special on country hams, or I'm just making stuff up. You go and find, but then you see the ham is like half the size versus Kroger, and you're like, I'm just going to go with Kroger, right? So
yeah,
you need to create an irresistible offer where people are like, hey, I can't find this anywhere else. This dude has it. So a lot of times the offers are just off, and then
mhm,
sometimes it could be that they're just running them wrong, right? That the last piece is that they're in a good model.
yeah,
They're on podcasts, they're running master classes, they're running these 5-day challenges, but they just don't know how to do it, right? So
gotcha.
those are like the 3 common things. And then normally whenever I have those conversations, I just ask those questions and like give guidance to those people based off what they answer on those things.
I love it. I love it. Let's go through that 35 million for your clients, man. Like, that's unbelievable. Right. And I'm guessing it's not just you running one 5-day challenge for them. It's a consistency thing that happened there. Is that correct?
Yeah. So that 35 million for our clients, that's like, I would say spread over 40 or 50 clients, right?
Yeah.
It could be a little less. So it's not like just one client we help make 35, but it's, spread across multiple. Some of them run multiple challenges, right? So for,
Mhm.
or multiple platforms, stages, events, whatever you want to call them. Like David,
Yeah.
we ran 4 events and he made $1 million, right? So like that's all 4 events. This dude had
Yeah.
no email list. He did not run ads. You're like, Michael,
Wow.
how did he make $1 million if he had no email list, he had no ads, he didn't have a big social media? Partnerships. You write that down. Find people who have what you
Mm.
need, right? So we talked about at the beginning. I
Yeah.
had a skill set that David needed. He had a skill set that I needed. Same thing. We turned around and implemented that in his coaching business. He had a skill of teaching people how to coach real estate. And
Yeah.
so he partnered, but he didn't have a following. And
Yeah.
so he found people that had a following, but just weren't
Mm.
strong at teaching what he knew.
Yeah.
And we ran it that way. And so like, yeah, a lot of our coaches, a lot of the people we work with, business owners, they'll run multiple events per year. But I got some
Gotcha.
clients that they'll run one event per year, make, 50,000, 100,000, a couple $100,000 and just be, all right, I'm good, and be
Got
done with
it.
it. So
Rinse and repeat. Now, I
yeah,
love it because it is a lot of energy to put this together, right? It's not something that's
yeah,
going to happen tonight, but once you have it structured and it's running, and it's working for you and your business, all you gotta do is rinse and repeat. So if he did 4 events and got to 7 figures, imagine that, if you're a small business owner, you're listening to me, trying to figure out, okay, is this for me? What level does that business owner need to be in their business to think about maybe doing a challenge? Like, is
Dude,
there?
I think right now, if you're starting out and you're a small business owner and you're
Mhm.
just getting started, like go for it. Because just because I said earlier, like sometimes people don't have enough people in the room. Like
Yeah.
I've had people, like that's not always the issue. Like it's not about how many people's in the room. I should have said this earlier. It's about who's in the room, right?
Mm,
It's not about how many people's in the virtual room. It's about who's in the virtual room. And so you may, for example, you may be a financial advisor. Let's say you have a
yeah.
small financial advisor firm. You can run an event and invite people on your Facebook friends profile to come join you. You may have
Yeah.
10 people show up and then 2 clients, come out of it. And for a financial advisor, 2 clients is thousands of dollars, right?
Yeah.
Same with like, let's just say, a real estate agent. I'm just making stuff up. For them, a client may be worth $5,000, $3,000, depending on the house they sell, right? So they may this is a really cool example. If you're an agent, run an hour training. You can do this once a week, once per
Mm,
month, once per quarter, and teach people how to, in one training, how to buy your first property with $0 down.
mm,
Right now, of course there's legalities with agent,
of
you
course.
can't be saying certain, but you can craft it in a way where you hop on for an hour,
Yeah.
teach it. Like I said, there could be 5 people that show up, 20, 30, but if you have the right people in the room, it don't matter. So I think you're asking who should start, like start where you're at right now. And then what's going
Ooh,
to happen is you're going to be known. Eventually, the reason why I love these virtual stages is it helps build authority, right? Somebody's going to be like, oh, I just attended Kathy's class last night and I learned I'm gonna go. She's working with me. I'm gonna go get a house with 0% down. And they're like, what? How'd you do that? I connect with Kathy, right? And then she becomes the authority just by running 1 or 2 events. And so I
mm.
think even if it's small, definitely run it, even if you're just starting out.
Wow, I love it. This is amazing gems. Oh, we're running out of time. We're gonna have to bring you back, man. Listen, so to close things out, to wrap things up, what is that one small biz tips you would share with any entrepreneurs right now who's listening to this, be like, huh, this virtual event thing might be my way to success with this business. What would you suggest to them?
Yeah, there's a few things, dude. As you know, there's so much we could give out, but I think for me, like whenever it comes to virtual stages, and from a small business perspective, because listen, I've been there, I know what that's like. I think just picking out one type of virtual stage and
Mm-hmm.
just committing to it is like what I would tell people. So
Gotcha.
whether that's you're gonna do like one workshop every week, or you're gonna run a 5-day challenge, or you're gonna create a podcast, like
Yeah.
just find one you can get really good at and just spend time on that, perfecting it, and then go from there. So that would be one tip I would give for people is don't think you're too don't think you're too small to run these virtual events. Like just jump right on in, pick one and perfect it.
Run with it. Wow, guys, this is Michael. How do people get in touch with you? I know you have so much going on. If they want to work with you, how does that work? Like, how do they contact you? Like,
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, if you guys are listening, you're like, dude, that was the fastest 20 minutes of my life. Like, that was a lot of information. Just listen, go to virtualstagesecrets.com. There's a free book there. Literally, it took me, probably hours to write that book. I'm just giving it away for free because I love like this power. This is powerful information. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words, but go to Virtual Stage Secrets or just hit me up on Instagram, official Michael Tucker. You can find me on there pretty easy. Pretty much across all platforms is official Michael Tucker. So, but yeah, that's it, man.
guys, he's the real deal. I know for a fact because I've seen the numbers. So reach out to him. Michael's that guy. You said virtualstagesecrets.com.
Yeah, go ahead and grab it. Yeah.
We'll have it in the show notes as well. Reach out to him. Thanks again for coming in, Michael. This was amazing. All
Well,
right.
thanks for having me, bro. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you very soon.